Welcome back to another episode of Wonderful Garbage. I'm back home, back in my podcasting space. Just got back from a week-long vacation. It was really nice and much needed, but I am so excited to be back with y'all, ready to gossip about all kinds of things. We didn't have a full episode last week, but I did put out some clips on Spotify and YouTube. A couple are on Instagram and TikTok also, so make sure to go check those out. And if you haven't listened to our first episode, go back and take a look at that too. Thanks again for tuning in, and let's get to it. Hope everyone's had a good week. I feel like there's so much going on. There's always like a lot of pop culture news going on anyway, but with the Olympics, it's just heightened everything. There were events at all hours of the day, then interviews and articles and social media. There's just so much to keep up with. It was hard. I saw someone post something on Instagram that said, we really needed Olympics PTO to where we just had 2 weeks off. Everyone could watch it. Everyone could keep up with all the events because there was just so much going on. I'm thankful that we have Peacock and we were able to search for specific events and look at different things that we missed while we were gone. So a lot going on with the Olympics. It's been really great to watch people live out their dream and get to something that they've been working for most of their lives, if not their entire lives, and seeing their family support and country support and people just being able to rally around each other and other Olympians going to watch their peer events and things like that. It's been really cool to see. So I'm sad it's over, but it was cool Olympics. I know there was a lot of politics behind it, and sleeping conditions weren't great, and food situations I heard were not good either. I read some articles about that. So, and also just the water in the Seine, right? That still wasn't great for some of the swimmers. So there were a lot of issues for sure. Those issues aside, I enjoyed watching what we watched from the Olympics. Today are the closing ceremonies, and Katie Ledecky and Nick Mead were chosen to be the flag bearers for USA during the closing ceremonies. Katie ends this Olympic Games with 4 additional medals, now totaling 14 medals. In this Olympic Games, she won 2 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. And this makes her the most decorated American female athlete. So congratulations to her. She's such a badass, such a big accomplishment. And Nick Mead, if you don't know him, he is on the men's 4-team rowing group. And they won a gold medal. It's the first one for the 4 men's rowing team since 1960. So huge accomplishment to them. If you are missing the Olympics this week, just wait. The Paralympics starts actually in a couple weeks. It starts Wednesday, August 28th, and it goes through Sunday, September 8th. It's also going to be held in Paris. I was reading up a little bit about it because honestly, I haven't really watched any of the Paralympic events before. They'll have 22 sports. Just like we see with Olympics that are going on currently, there will be some individual events and some team events. Some of the events that are going to happen are wheelchair basketball, fencing, tennis, and rugby. Also blind football. And then para archery, cycling, rowing, swimming, and table tennis. If you have some time, I would check out the Paralympics website. I believe it's paralympics.org. They list all the events that are going to be going on, explains the rules, identifies people to look out for in the competitions coming up. So I will be checking that out for sure. I think it's important that we support all of the Olympic events. And we'll get some more Olympics, some more things to watch. Before we get to our pop culture recap for the week, I do want to talk about some of the Olympic events that stood out to me, some things I was able to see. So let's get into that. USA won the most medals throughout the entire Olympic season this year. We ended this Olympics with 126 medals. 40 were gold, 44 were silver, and 42 bronze. So congratulations, Team USA. I see U.S. women's basketball gold match against France. They won by 1 point. It was so exciting. U.S. was up by 3 in the final seconds of the game. France had the ball. They throw it down the court. One of their players goes to shoot it, and I think she thought she was going to make a 3, but her foot touched the 3-point line, so it was a 2-pointer, and USA ended up winning by 1 point. It was such a close ending, and this win actually gave Team USA women's basketball their 8th consecutive gold. That's amazing. That's so cool. So congratulations to them. That's wonderful. The U.S. men's basketball team also played their France counterpart yesterday and then ended up winning gold as well. They won 98-87. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw some highlights. It looked like Curry was on fire as usual. He had 8 3-pointers, I think I read. Really exploded within the last, I think, like 3 or 4 minutes of the game. So that was awesome. Kevin Durant became the first men's player to win 4 gold medals in basketball. Congratulations to him. And this win also became the 5th consecutive win for the men's basketball team in the Olympics. So lots to celebrate. I love how USA and France both ended up being in the finals for the women's and the men's basketball. I think that's pretty cool. The women's gymnastics team won gold in their team gymnastics event, gaining the nickname the Golden Girls, or the F Around and Find Out team, which I love. Simone Biles ended this entire Olympic experience with 8 medals, including 5 gold, which makes her the most decorated U.S. Olympic gymnast. So congratulations to her. If you haven't watched the Simone Biles documentary on Netflix, it came out a couple months ago, you totally should. She talks about her experience in Tokyo, where she got the twisties, which disorients you when you're mid-air doing a routine. She said it like separates your mind from your body, and you're not able to control really or feel synced with yourself, which I can only imagine how scary that feels. Can you just like imagine getting lost while doing something like that? I can't. I would be terrified. And so for her being able to come back and feel completely calm and focused and ready to go in this Olympics is great. She 100% did what she should have done for her body, for her safety, and I think it just made this Olympic experience so much sweeter for her. So that was really awesome. I don't know if y'all saw this, but when the women's gymnastic events were going on, they would cut to the training facility that Simone and Jordan train in here in Texas. And there were a bunch of young gymnasts who were sitting and watching them compete. And then some of them were doing some of the moves that they were doing in the routine because they've been seeing them practice this for a long time. So I thought it was really cute and really special that they were able to watch their peers, their heroes, compete and know how hard that they've worked through this. So that was really cute. So in some crappy news around the women's gymnastics Olympic events, it came out just yesterday that Jordan's bronze medal that she won during her floor exercise is being revoked. She's losing her bronze medal. So her coach had filed an appeal after her floor routine because she believed that the initial scoring that the judges gave was too low based on the difficulty that she had completed on a split leap move that she did. So the apparently the coach can submit an appeal for scoring within a minute of the routine being completed. Her coach submitted it 4 seconds out of that minute time frame. So when they went back to review it, and the person who was initially in third place from Romania said, hey, this judge or the coach submitted it outside of the required time frame. This shouldn't be allowed. Jordan was initially in 5th place. When they reviewed the scoring, moved her to 3rd place. Now she is out of the 3rd place and is going back to the initial gymnast who had won that. So it's a mess. It's sad. I don't think she should be penalized for something that was out of her control. I've seen this on the internet too. Like, why can't they give both gymnasts a bronze medal? I don't know. It's just unfortunate to hear. It's a sad way to end the Olympics, but Jordan, gave it her all. She did really, really great, and it just sucks that this was the outcome of it. The track and field events were really fun to watch in a positive light. I was able to catch some highlights here and there. Have to give it up to the women's 4x100 meter team winning gold. This helped Gabby Thomas, who was one of the competitors, get 3 gold medals in 3 different track and field events, which is wild. I love that. Just another badass woman. And then Sha'Carri Richardson ended up getting her first gold medal in that event. So congratulations to her. I'm sure you've seen it all over the internet, but there's a picture, like a video of her. She's running. She's almost to the finish line. She's in front. She turns to look at her competition, looks back, wins the gold. So badass. There's also a 16-year-old named Quincy Wilson competing this year in track and field. He's the youngest man to ever compete for the USA in track and field. He competed with his team in the 4x400 meter relay, and they ended up with bronze, so congratulations to them. Did y'all see the story about the Pakistan men javelin competitor, Arshad Nadeem? So he won gold in his event and also set an Olympic record. Congratulations to him. I was reading somewhere that his village or his community helped raise money to get him to the Olympics and helped with training because he wasn't able to do it on his own. So this is the positivity that I like from the Olympics. It's hearing these stories of people who banded together, were able to support someone. He won gold. He gets to take it back to his community, and they all get to celebrate together. I think it's really, really special, so congratulations. Something I hadn't seen before was speed climbing. If you haven't checked that out, you totally should. They have 2 athletes compete at the same time. They climb up separate walls, and the fastest score advances to the next round. At first, when you look at the wall, it does look like it's just straight, like there's no angle to it, but there is a little angle to it, so it makes it more difficult for them to do. Some were climbing crazy fast, like Spider-Man, just flying through it. Some were getting it in less than 5 seconds. Some of them would slip, and then you could tell that it really just took a lot more for them to get up the wall. Anyways, it was really cool to watch. I'd never seen anything like it. Indonesia ended up winning gold for the men's group, and then Poland won gold in the women's group. So check out speed climbing. It's crazy. To wrap up my little Olympic section, just another shout out to the USA women's rugby team. They won their first ever medal for the rugby sevens team. They won bronze, so congratulations to them. I'd never really watched rugby before. I've seen clips, but never watched a full-on match. We were able to watch some of that, and those women are hella tough. Congratulations to them. It was awesome. It was great. There's so much more I can talk about with the Olympics. I know there were so many events going on, so many records broken, so many feel-good stories. I just don't have time to talk about it. Oh, we did also watch artistic swimming. Is that what it was called? I think it was called artistic swimming, and we watched some of the artistic gymnastics. Wow, the swimmers, amazing athletes, incredible. I loved all their outfits. They danced to some really great music. It was just really great to see. There was so much. I could talk about it more. But yay, Olympic season's done. We're going to have Paralympics coming up. So that'll be fun to watch. Let's get into our weekly pop culture recap. I have to start with the movie premiere and all the drama surrounding It Ends With Us. I have been looking forward to this movie since I first heard that it was going to be made into a movie. It's originally a book. I'm a fan of the book. I read it super quickly. I couldn't put it down. I loved it. It's a very, very heavy read. If you don't know the backstory about it, it's about domestic violence. The main character is in a relationship with somebody who is not a safe partner, and then she rekindles a friendship with someone from her past, someone that she grew up with, and it just goes through the dynamics of those relationships and shines a light on how domestic violence and staying in that situation isn't so black and white. There's so much gray to it. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm hoping to watch it next weekend. Honestly, when all the casting news first came out and we got to see beginning shots of it being filmed, I wasn't too sure how it was going to go. Because in my head, I have it a certain way. Obviously, it's my opinion of what I thought the movie was going to be like or who should be cast and things like that. The clips that I've seen from Lily Bloom, the flower shop, looks gorgeous. I can't wait to see all of that come to life. But if you don't know, if you're living under a rock, there is unconfirmed drama surrounding the movie's director and one of the main actors, Justin Baldoni, and Blake Lively, who plays Lily. Duh, you've already know that. So Blake's press around the movie has been very light and fun and energetic, while Justin's press has been more focused on the domestic violence part. I did see in an article that he worked with different groups that help survivors of domestic violence to make sure that the story was told in a way that you could really understand their side of it and what they go through. So this book is written by Colleen Hoover, fantastic author. I love her. She's written so many wonderful stories. It's based on her experiences from her past between her mother and her father. So knowing that this story is so real and so raw, and then Justin as the director really wanting to make sure that he's focusing on the real and raw story as well. He actually came to Colleen. I read in another article, he came to Colleen 5 years ago saying, "Hey, I would love to help you make this book into a movie. I would love to be a part of this project in any way that I can. I would love to help direct it." So knowing that backstory and then seeing the press behind it, I'm not saying that Blake's press shouldn't be so fun and light and airy. I don't know. I saw something that Blake said that Justin made her feel uncomfortable on set. And then I saw some things that Justin's saying that, he, as playing the abuser, it was really, really tough for him. He had to go and take breaks in the trailer just to separate himself from the story. I think two things can be true. I think this movie was definitely difficult to make. How can it be light as a movie that's surrounding domestic violence? I think there's going to be rough patches when you're filming something like this, and I think there could be a way where it just sucks that this is what's being focused on versus coming together, putting whatever aside, and really just showing up and saying, hey, there's so many people who go through this, and we will hope this movie is a way for you to feel seen and understood and know that you are worthy of so much more than whatever situation you are in. I wish that was more of the focus versus all of this drama going on. It sucks. I am excited to see it though. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but just wish it was a different outcome for how everything's being promoted. There's another movie premiere this week for Blink Twice. I am also very excited about this movie. I remember seeing the trailer when it came out, and it's like Thriller 101. I love thriller movies. They're my favorite. I cannot wait. So this is Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut. Channing Tatum's the lead actor. They are now engaged. Such a hot couple. If you don't know what the movie's about, this is what I got from Rotten Tomatoes. It says, when tech billionaire Slater King, who's played by Channing Tatum, meets cocktail waitress Frida, who's played by Naomi Ackie, at his fundraising gala, sparks fly. He invites her to join him and his friends on a dream vacation on his private island. It's paradise. Wild nights spend into sun-soaked days, and everyone's having a great time. No one wants the trip to end, but as strange things start to happen, Frida begins to question her reality. There is something wrong with this place. She'll have to uncover the truth if she wants to make it out of this party alive. I'm so excited to watch it. It sounds so good. Watch the trailer if you haven't. It comes out in theaters Friday, August 23rd, so I will definitely be watching that. You should totally watch it. It looks really, really good. All right, there is some engagement news. Adele let the world know about her engagement to Rich Paul, who she has been dating for the past 3 years. According to Billboard, in a concert over the weekend, a fan had a sign at her show that said, "Will you marry me?" And Adele responded with, "I can't marry you. I'm already getting married." And then she pointed to a ring on her finger. We don't know when the engagement specifically happened. There were engagement rumors about a year or so ago. Nothing was ever confirmed. So we don't know any details, but congratulations to their families. I just want to know who she's going to have sing at their wedding. Is it going to be something small? Is she going to perform something? It's going to be star-studded and beautiful if they do something big, but congratulations. That's exciting for her. In other engagement news, Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco might also be engaged. I don't know. In an article from E! News, Selena Gomez posted a mirror selfie to her Instagram story on August 8th in a champagne-colored slip dress with heart emojis covering her hand while Benny was in the background. So the emojis were like over a couple, like her ring finger and her middle finger, which it looks suspicious, right? Like, okay, we could totally be reaching on the heart emojis on her hand. It was a weird placement. I don't know. I would love that if they want that, of course. But I think, too, for these celebrities or people in the public eye who get a lot of engagement pressure, I think it would be cool if they were just already engaged behind the scenes and then like would privately laugh when people would bring up their engagement stuff without us analyzing every single thing about it. If they are, congratulations. If they're not, cool. I also want this for some other couples that are in the public eye. So I'm a huge fan of Paige DeSorbo from Summer House and Craig Conover from Southern Charm. For as much shit as Paige gets for not being engaged to Craig yet and not moving to Charleston to be with him, I also secretly hope that they're engaged and or maybe married. If they want that, if they don't want that, so cool. Whatever floats their boat. But I would also love if they like could just laugh behind the scenes at like all these Bravo fans who talk shit about her and bug her about not being engaged yet, for he'd be like, ha ha ha, you guys don't even know, we got engaged in Italy a couple months ago, suckers, or something like that. Also, same thing for Nina Dobrev and Shaun White. I feel like sometimes when I see Nina's pictures on Instagram, there's always comments under it like, just get engaged already, just be married already. And what if they already were and we didn't know? I would love that for them. Anywho, did y'all see that Nelly got arrested? Okay, so in an article from People on Wednesday, August 7th, Nelly was booked for failure to appear on an old traffic charge and had a charge of a possession of a controlled substance. His lawyer later clarified that he was not charged with drug possession. He was arrested for a no proof of insurance that happened back in 2018. And then there was a warrant issued for that in December 2023 that he, I guess, apparently wasn't notified about. And the statement from his lawyer claims that Nelly was targeted by an overzealous cop. So he was actually at a local casino, won several jackpots. The officer was supervising the transfer of the money and then decided to run a warrant check. And then it came up that he had that outstanding thing from that no proof of insurance. Nelly said he had no idea. He was there, he said, just like as early as last week, won some money, never got checked either. Then the officer felt like he needed to handcuff Nelly and walk him through the casino. I don't know. It's just weird. The officer's alleging he also found ecstasy on him. I don't know. I think it's weird. It sucks. Warrants suck. It's just, I don't know. Can you imagine just being in a casino and seeing Nelly, like, being walked out in handcuffs? Honestly, the most surprising thing in this article for me was that Nelly is 49 years old. Isn't that insane? I was a Nelly fan back in the day. I'm like an early 2000s hip-hop girly. So him being 49 means that I'm also getting old, and I don't like that. We got a couple TV show trailers or TV show announcements this week. So the highly anticipated second season of Tell Me Lies is almost here. Oh, another like thriller. Well, it's not really thriller. I guess it's more like toxic. Another toxic college TV show. The trailer was released this week. I can't wait. It's going to pick back up of the group returning to college. Lucy and Steven are done. They had the most toxic, volatile relationship, situationship, whatever you want to call it. It was horrible. That was season 1. Go watch it if you haven't. Makes for great TV, but wow, were they toxic. So the second season's going to premiere September 4th on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, go watch the first season so you'll be ready for the second. And then I actually think that Lucy and Steven had I don't remember their actual names right off the bat, but they, I think, apparently had dated in real life. Also, the guy who plays Steven is Kathy Seagal's son. Kathy Seagal and Kurt, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name, but he was the creator of Sons of Anarchy. I think that's their son. How cool is that? I love that. I love finding out stuff like that. Nepotism, y'all. But no, that show's fantastic. We got a White Lotus season 3 kind of sneak peek. So HBO released a couple of clips for their upcoming 2024-2025 TV showcase. So we know it's being filmed in Thailand. It's going to have a 2025 release. One of the castmates, Carrie Coon, did an interview and she said, you know, like the first season of White Lotus was focused all about money. The second season was more about sexual relationships. And apparently Mike White has come out and said that the third season is going to be more about death. But he's going to do, of course, like a funny turn on death or something. make it the Mike White death special. So Natasha Rothwell is going to return as Belinda. She was the one who, she was a massage therapist in season 1, and then she wanted to open her own spa. And then Michelle Monaghan's going to be in it. Leslie Bibb, Walton Goggins, Carrie Coon, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Connie Britton, a whole cast of other people. Some fans, I was reading, are speculating that Belinda inherited Tanya's fortune. If you know, Tanya was famously played by Jennifer Coolidge, so she's no longer with us in White Lotus, so they're thinking that Belinda inherited her money, because in the clip that we did see from HBO, Belinda looks like she's arriving to the hotel as a guest and not as an employee. So maybe she's a rich bitch now. Who knows? We would love it. Not sure about much else with it though from right now, so we'll wait to see if we get any other news about White Lotus, but it's such a great show, so excited for it. We have a premiere date for the second season of Shrinking. If you haven't watched that, it is on Apple TV. It's going to premiere October 16th, so we still have a couple of months, but at least we have a date for it. We're going to get 2 episodes on the first week and then 1 episode each week after that. If you haven't seen the show, it's about a grieving therapist who's played by Jason Segel. He's grieving the loss of his wife. He is a hot mess. He's navigating being a therapist, so providing people with support and guidance, while he is also going through the death of his wife and grieving or trying to figure out how to grieve with his teenage daughter. He's spiraling, so how does he help himself or allow others to help him through it? Harrison Ford's also in this. He's also one of the therapists that works there. At their practice. I think he actually owns the practice. He's going through his own things. Also, he has family issues, and this show is just it's a lot about the complexity of relationships. And the writing's really good. It is funny and sarcastic, and there's shit talking, and I love it all. It's just impeccable writing. I love it. Check out the first season if you haven't. Again, it's on Apple TV. We don't get it until October, so you definitely have some time to watch it. Check it out. All right, that's all I have for our pop culture recap. Oh, no, there's actually one more thing. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie are back at it. They're filming another Simple Life series. I posted this, and I'm sure you've seen it all around to our stories, that they were working at a Sonic. I love that. Someone else got a clip of them in a Walmart. So I don't know if they're working in a Walmart or just we're going to shop at Walmart. I don't know. But we're going to get the iconic duo back, Paris Hilton, Nikki Richie. I didn't write any notes about it because I totally blanked out on it. I'll talk about it when it comes out, and I'll talk about it as we get more info and more behind the scenes stuff from it. But there's just so much that goes on. That's what I got for this week's pop culture recap. All right, let's get into our Bravo breakdown. Okay, so this is a week late, but Phaedra Parks is back. She is back on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, according to an article from Deadline, Phaedra Parks is getting her peach back and returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 following a 6-season break and newfound fame after the Traitors USA season 2. Side note, if you haven't watched Traitors, go watch it, especially season 2. Phaedra is a queen in that show. So Parks is returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta and joining the cast amid a major shakeup. Kenya Moore, who's been on the show for a long time, is no longer part of the cast. Not going to talk about what happened. You can go look that up for yourselves if you'd like to. It sucks. I liked Kenya. She gave great shade. I think she was good for TV. She's controversial. I don't know. It just sucks what happened. So you called, I answered. Park shared on her Instagram, adding a peach emoji to her caption. She posted a photo of herself holding a peach as she exited a private jet with multiple pieces of luggage surrounding her. So Phaedra went and she had taken a 6-year break from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Came back in this last season of Married to Medicine and was a friend of, which was all right. I think she just does better on the Atlanta Real Housewives show. So now she's back on that. We're excited. I didn't realize that Phaedra was gone from 6 years from Atlanta. That's crazy. So she is going to be joining Portia Williams, who's coming back. So we're going to have Frick and Frack back on our screens. And Drew Sidora as well. And then we have a lot of new cast members because Candy left. Kenya's now gone. Sheree is not coming back. So we get longtime friend of the show, Shamia, as well as 3 new girls, Brittany, Kelly, and Angela. And then Cynthia Bailey is actually going to come back. She was in a housewife. She was a housewife on the show, and she's coming back as a friend of. I know Phaedra has had her issues on the show, some really high highs, the birth of her 2 sons. She's had some low lows, things that have gone on with her ex-husband, accusations that she made against Candy and her husband Todd, who was another couple on Atlanta, but Candy has now left this season. I hope that the time away has allowed her to not do that stuff that she did back then. I just want her to bring the drama. I want it to be petty. I want it to be light. I want it to be fun. I want them to go on fun cast trips and just have a great time. So we don't have a premiere date yet for the upcoming season. They're currently filming it. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a good one. So last week, Carl from Summer House announced a new business venture called Soft Bar and Cafe. Carl is currently sober. He's been sober for a couple of years. And on their Instagram, it says, popping up around New York, summer 2024, Brooklyn's first non-alcoholic bar and cafe for mindful consumption. Coming soon. I did see some of their menu. The mocktails sound delicious. There's another section where they're going to have mushroom-infused drinks as well. I think that's a great idea. I did see a comment on their Instagram that said, you missed the opportunity to call it So-Bar, because it's a sober bar. I think it makes me laugh. I think it's funny. So this was brought up during the last season of Summer House. Carl was engaged to Lindsay. If you know, you know. They didn't end up getting married, which was great for everybody involved. Carl was trying to figure out what he wanted to do and came up with the idea of opening a sober bar. Lindsay was not on board whatsoever, did not agree with the idea. She's a former publicist, so I think just thinking back on, she's probably seen a lot of companies fail and a lot of issues there, and so just I think from a business perspective, she wasn't sure what that was going to be like, but she was not supportive whatsoever about this. So I don't want to talk bad about someone who's sober and doing something to support and help a sober community. I think it's great. I just really hope that they have really good mocktails and really good things that are going to support the longevity of something like this. I think providing a space where sober people feel comfortable is great, especially in some sort of bar type environment. So we'll see. I hope it goes well. I did see Carl posted they did a little pop-up. They're filming Summer House right now, so they did do a little pop-up, I think, at the house or at a house out there in the Hamptons. Some of the cast went out to support, so I'm excited to see what happens. I hope it goes well for him. Something positive for the sober community. I hope they're super successful and make a bukus of money. In some fun, happy news, because I love this franchise, Real Housewives of Miami is going to start filming season 7 in September, which I think is a little later than normal, actually. But I'm just excited that they're coming back because this has been such a good cast. If you don't know, this new group of Miami Housewives is a reboot from the original series that they had. The original series, I think, aired back like in 2013. I could be getting my dates totally wrong, but the early 2010s. They were on for 3 years. They took a really long break. Some of the original castmates came back, and then they added a handful of newbies. And it has been, I think, one of the best housewife castings that we've had in a long time. They get along and they don't get along when they need to. They have drama, they have conflict, but they just know what to do. They're a really good housewife group, and I really like it. And it kind of sucks that they're filming so late because there was some big divorce surprise news that we had back in April. I can't believe it was back in April. But Alexia, who was one of the OG Miami housewives from the original series, is now a housewife on this series. She got divorced from her husband, Todd. He surprised her, actually, with it. We saw them get married on the show, or they did like a little elopement, and then they had a reception to celebrate on the show. I hope they went and picked up filming when the divorce stuff happened, like they did with Scandival, and they kind of did with Kyle and Mauricio's drama on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I do hope we get to see some fallout, even though it is something that's like super personal and tough. So we'll see. Apparently, there's also going to be a couple new housewives that they're adding to the mix, which it's totally not needed. I think it's a great housewife cast. They need to make Kiki full-time. Everyone else could pretty much stay. I don't think we need Larsa's extra friends that were coming in and hanging out. And then, honestly, I think we could get rid of Marisol. I know she was on the original cast. She's friends with Alexia, friends with a couple other ladies. I don't know. I feel like she doesn't bring a lot to the show. So I'm good either way. But I don't know about these newbies coming in. I think it's too early to bring in newbies. I think it's going well. I think the thing is that the Miami Housewives film on Peacock and not on Bravo. So I don't know if that's affecting an issue with viewership because not everybody has Peacock. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're bringing in new housewives. Who knows? I just don't mess with the cast. I think they're good. So Monica, the one-hit wonder, one-season wonder on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, was doing an event this week and said that production has tried to get her back to film on the current season that's filming right now. She said that they've asked her back several times. They wanted her back towards the end of the season. I guess like a surprise, hey, I'm back. But she said some of the other housewives have threatened to quit if she came back on the show. I don't know. I think it would help with viewership because up until the whole Monica reality Von Teese scandal, which I'll touch on in a sec, their ratings were pretty low, and once all that happened, they believe their numbers jumped up a lot. So I think Monica should have stayed for this season, at least just to help with numbers. But nobody wants to film with her, so what could they do? So if you don't follow along with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, it was revealed at the end of last season that Monica, she was a newbie that first season, that she was a part of an Instagram page called Reality Von Teese that she said initially started to expose things about Jen Shaw, who was on Salt Lake City Housewives, who is now in prison for her role in a telemarketing scheme and was charged with conspiracy of wire fraud and money laundering. She's currently serving a 6.5-year sentence. She ended up pleading guilty. She's serving her time right now. So Monica said, hey, we first created this page to expose Jen Shah. Monica was friends with Jen, I think was her assistant, her unpaid assistant at one point. So she got to see things that were going on. Her and a group of people created this page to expose things. Then it turned into more talking about the Salt Lake City housewives, putting gossip and things out there about them. But Monica wasn't the only one a part of this. Yes, she ended up being on the housewives, but she wasn't the only person that was involved in it. Heather's hairstylist, so Heather Gay's a Real Housewife, Salt Lake City, on the show as well. Her hairstylist was also a part of it, and her hairstylist was the one who came and told Heather, like, hey, I need to confess to you. I'm a part of this page, but so is your new girl, Monica, so, like, watch out. It blew up. It became this big thing. They announced it on this cast trip to Bermuda, which is just like one of the most iconic scenes. You should just go back and watch that if you're not too interested in the housewives of Salt Lake City. Go back and watch those last couple episodes because it was like cinematic. I get it. She talked shit about the people that she was filming with behind their back. But Monica did come out and say that some of the housewives would also go and like their stuff or DM things or comment things. So if you're also being a part of it by commenting and liking and doing all these things, then why are y'all so hard on Monica when it just wasn't her, right? It was other people too. I don't know. Again, I think she should have stayed, but she really needed to have a better reunion. She did not do good in the reunion that they had for that last season. She was still super defensive. I think she should have been more compassionate, and that would have helped her ease into this next season. But I think she blew it at the reunion, and it blew her chance to be back on the show. I don't know. It's like these ladies talk shit about each other to their faces, behind their backs. What's the difference than doing it on an Instagram? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Monica's going to come back. I think she just keeps digging and digging and digging deeper holes. Unless this upcoming season really doesn't get the numbers that it needs, then maybe they end up bringing Monica back. And not this season, but in the next season. Who knows? I don't know. Drama. Okay, one last thing about Bravo before we do recaps about this week's Orange County and Dubai housewives. Alrighty. In an interview from Parents Magazine, Lala from Vanderpump Rules talked about the latest season, her second pregnancy, and the current break that they're having from filming Vanderpump Rules. So typically, for the past 11 years, they film every summer. But with the way everything went down with the affair and how the filming went post-affair, they've taken a break from it. It's crazy. So according to Parent Magazine, during the season 11 reunion, viewers saw Kent get extremely heated over her fellow castmate Ariana Maddox's refusal to film with her ex-boyfriend Tom Sandoval, arguing that it could hurt the future of the show. I've always been a pretty intense person, and I've always been protective, but the moment you have a kid, you turn into a warrior, Kent explains. Anyone who comes in and tries to threaten the well-being of your children and how you provide for them is not going to be taken kindly. I stand by what I said at the reunion. I was deeply offended because no one was coming in and taking food off my table. I'm a mama bear, and for anyone who doesn't understand that, not my problem. So Lala is saying that the way that Ariana's handling not filming with Tom is hurting her pockets and her being able to provide for her kids. I get that you're on a show with these people. And I get that you all rely on each other to continue to film, which gives you the income to support your kids, right? But that's not anyone else's problem, so to say. I don't know. It's hard. Like, Lala has a podcast. She does her Instagram lives. I think she's doing a little mini series on Instagram live about her second pregnancy. So she's getting income, but I don't think it's fair for her to try to put the well-being of her children on somebody else, you know? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. It was a weird thing. I don't know. And it just sucks. Vanderpump Rules is one of my favorite shows. I actually am going to do a whole recap of my favorite Vanderpump Rules scenes and seasons and things that came out of that show. I'll be posting that in a couple weeks. So it sucks that they're not filming. But some of the other castmates are out there doing their thing, providing, making their money. I'm sure it was a big way that they did make money, right? It was probably bringing in a good chunk of income. So that sucks. But hopefully we'll get some sort of Vanderpump people back soon. All right, so this is actually the end of the episode. I'm going to have the Real Housewives of Dubai and Real Housewives of Orange County recaps out tomorrow. So come back to check those out. Until next time.